Welcome. My name is Sandra Corrado, and my guest today is Brigitte Gail Knight. We've known each other since grade 4, so I'm so pleased to be able to sit with her and have this conversation today. You know, we all face challenges and stressors in one time or another, sometimes more intensely, other times a bit less. And my being a researcher, and having gone through stressful situations, challenging times, I'm always looking for new tools on how I can use them through challenging or stressful situations, because I find some tools work better in some situations, other tools don't work quite as well, and I want to be prepared. I want to be empowered. So I invited my friend Brigitte on this call today so we can talk about what she is focusing on. So let me do a brief intro, and then we're going to go right into our call. So thank you, Brigitte, for being here today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
So am I. It's been a while. I've been wanting to do this with you.
Yes, we've been working on it for a while.
So Brigitte is a human design educator and mentor, as well as a human design informed counselor. She loves teaching people to use their designs to improve their relationships. Brigitte helps people who have left high mind control environments to manage trauma, anxiety, guilt, loneliness, and depression. Her life's experience as a registered nurse, therapist, former Jehovah's Witness, and human design practitioner since 2006 can help you start living your best life. So again, welcome, Brigitte.
Thank you.
I would love, actually, for everyone, to remind everyone, to follow along. It would be great if you took a moment to go to Brigitte's website to download your own human design, because that is what we're talking about today, human design blueprint. So you would go to www.brigitte, BRIGITTE, KNIGHT.com / on her website, you will notice a spot where you can download your own human design. You'll need to put some information in, and then you'll have it. So follow along with us, will you? So Brigitte, can you tell us about human design? Like what drew you to human design in the first place?
Wow. Well, I was a registered nurse working in hospital for a really long time, burning out over and over and over again. And finally got tired of it and decided I need a less stressful job. And so I was working in this kind of mindless job just to give myself time to recover. And one of my clients said, "Hey, have you heard about human design?" And she ran my free chart and gave it to me. And she said, "You're a projector." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And she says, "That means that you're designed to guide and teach other people, but only when they invite you. Only when they ask you to assist them, so that you and they start off with a really great relationship," right? I did not know that.
That's a great insight.
Yeah, I was not designed to be hustling in a hospital the way I was doing. So no wonder I was burning out. So when I learned that, I was so relieved. I can't even begin to tell you. It felt like a weight fell off my shoulders. So right away, I just had to know more, dived into a training course, and now I use it because it helped me so much, with not getting frustrated, overwhelmed. I mean, Sandra, my hair was falling out, and I was getting up every morning feeling, really sick, and go on the floor. I would take my own blood pressure and heart rate, and it was off the charts while I was working to help other people. So it's a good thing I was young, or else I would have had a stroke every day on the floor, which is not funny, but that's where my vital signs were, right? So that huge relief and insight is what pulled me deeper and deeper into using it with other people and teaching other people.
Wow, that's amazing. So how do you use it? How would you use the human design chart? So we've now mentioned everyone go grab your human design. What information do we get from that?
When you get your human design chart, you're going to find out what your type is, right? And there are 5 different types. So once I find out what your type is, I use it directly or indirectly in my work. So I do counseling. I do human design teaching one-to-one, where people just really learn all about themselves. When I use it indirectly, it's clients that come in for counseling who may not know about human design, and it is a little on the woo-woo side. So it's not terribly woo-woo, but it's similar to the Myers-Briggs personality test, but the woo-woo version. So if people don't know about it, I don't want to freak them out. So I just use the information that they've given me to find what their basically their type is. And then I use the language of their type. I use what I know is natural for them to start dealing with them, right? Because each human design has a certain way they need to be spoken to, a certain way they need to be heard, and certain behaviors that are unique to them, and certain things that the world says is not accurate, they need to change it, is actually perfect for them, right? So I know those things ahead of time, so it helps me to build a relationship that I can work from easily. So that's how I use it.
Wow. And what are the benefits or features of human design?
Well, number one, I was saying to you before that there are these types, right? So there's actually 5 of them, and each one has a specific set of instructions. So 5 types, 5 purposes, roles that you're here to play, and 5 instruction manuals that go with each one, right? So that's the way I like to look at it. So when you run your free human design chart, you're going to learn what your type is. And that's going to tell you why you're here. What is your role on the planet? What is it that you're here to do? What are you built specifically to do, right? And I use that to educate people about what their contribution is to our collective goal. And if you ever stop and think about it, this was eye-opening for me. Our collective goal is survival, right? We want to continue living, and we want our children and generations to continue living. So what can we do while we're here to contribute to that evolving process, right? Your human design literally tells you what your basic purpose is and what specifically you bring to the table, right? So that's why I enjoy learning about people's types, so I can start speaking to that. And then I teach them how to start observing themselves in the world and adjusting so that they can naturally use their gifts and talents that they were born with, basically, right?
Wow.
I wanted to mention real quick, Sandra, when I was saying about the 5 instruction thingies, in human design, we call those strategies. So you get your basic purpose, and then you get the way that you can fulfill your purpose. That's what we call a strategy. So you get directions, right? Like everything on this planet has directions. Human beings actually have the directions that they didn't learn.
Where is my book?
Right? I didn't get one either.
So,
I didn't get one either.
Like you, I burnt out in 2003, and I made it my mission to research what got me to that place, and also, what strategies to use to help me build life. So I found so many, and I know you had mentioned human design about 10 years ago, and I remember you explained a little bit to me, but it didn't really sink in. I've been hearing a lot more about human design. I thought, oh, I need to have a more in-depth conversation. So here I'm at. So I am a manifesting generator. So how would people view me, or what would be my general purpose? How would I be operating here as a manifesting generator?
Well, let's see, just to bring people up to how you figured out you're a manifesting generator, the 5 types are manifestor generator, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector, right? Okay. So you are actually a combination of 2 types. So it's important for me to know what they are individually and how you actually express them in your life, right? So manifesting generator, their purpose is to work and they just love doing things. They like starting things. They always have like about 10 things going on at the same time, some of them unfinished, and that's some me. Of them, right? All manifesting generators relate to that piece of it, right? And their job is to also initiate other people. So when they respond to life and decide that, ooh, I want to do that thing, it clicks, the light bulb went on, everything feels good, they can actually easily draw other people into helping and supporting them, but they have to know how. Right. So that's the challenge. And that's where the stress comes in, because if you don't know your strategy and how to initiate people, number one, and number two, how to respond to the right thing in your life, so you're not using all that manifestor generating energy up on the wrong thing, that's where strategy comes in. So the strategy for a manifesting generator is, number one, wait for something yummy to respond to. Right. So you can start your 10 things, but wait for one of them to like, ooh, yeah, you feel that push in your back or someone's pulling you forward. You know, everyone has a different way. That's the thing that you can go ahead now, right? And you can initiate, you can manifest, you can speak it, you can do it, you can get people. The path becomes easier when you do it that way, right? The second piece of your strategy is to inform people, because you have such a fast, powerful energy, manifesting generators. People get knocked over as you hustle towards your goal, right? You're like, I got things to do, people, out of the way, out of the way. So it's important that manifesting generators realize there's slower people on the road, and that they do need to know about them and inform them. And informing looks like coming through people, got things to do, you know, sort of warning them that you've got stuff going on and it might affect you. That way they can move out of the way so you can flow easily. So you can hear all the things I'm telling you is about decreasing any resistance. So right away, doesn't that feel good? Like it feels less stressful already.
So much lighter.
Right? Just saying it like that, right, Sandra? So yeah, that's how it can benefit someone like you.
Wow. Wow. Now, can you give some examples of, say, the other types, like real life examples of other types? That way there's a sampling of,
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
each.
I like it. Okay,
That'd be possible?
Oh, more than possible. I could come on, but I won't. I will I will just share a few. So I mentioned that there are 5 types, and we've just covered yours, right? So manifestors, if you find out after you've done your chart, you find out that you're a manifestor, you are here to literally have this inner personal dialogue process of manifesting stuff. And when you figure out what it is you want to do, you can do it. There's nothing in your way. You don't have to, you know, just do it. But you do have to inform other people again of what you're doing, right? So the interesting thing about manifestors is they don't have a lot of energy to start with. They're not designed to work like everybody else, right? So if they try to work in a corporation where they got to go to a lot of team meetings and they've got to like check in with a boss all the time and so forth, that is death to a manifestor. That is a recipe for stress and all the things that come with stress, right? Manifestors are not the best team players. And the faster they realize that, it's not a dig, there's nothing wrong with you. It's literally just energy. And you actually know that if you're a manifestor. But the people who keep trying to fit in to the model of team playing as manifestors are going to have a hard time enjoying their life, right? They're going to be angry all the time. And the theme of manifestors who are not living their life is anger.
Oh, wow.
And the opposite of that is peace, right? Manifestors just want a peaceful life. And the way to do that is learn their strategy. And I think you asked me for an example. And an example of that is a client of mine. So funny. She came in complaining about, why is it that every time I initiate something and come up with an idea, I end up doing all the work? I'm burnt out. I'm tired. So it was a matter of explaining to her, first of all, you're not designed to do the work. Generators are, right? So your job is to go, like she gave me an example of dinner, right? I'll say, hey guys, come over to my house, let's have dinner. Or we're going out and having dinner, and then she's got to make the plans and she's got to make sure this and that, and everybody has their tickets and da 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 da. and I'm tired by the time, and I'm pissed off by the time I get there, excuse my French. And I said, well, stop doing that. Just tell them dinner's here. I'll meet you there and see what happens. And she did it, and everybody hopped to it and found into what they right?
Wow.
And
Wow.
she got to enjoy herself for once. And I said, yeah, strategy, inform, and see what happens. And then there's generators like you, and their job is to, there's 70% of the population, by the way. That should tell you something. They are here to literally work, do the work. They like working. That's the really cool thing, is that more work they do and the more they get to use up their energy, the happier they are. But the trick is they need to learn to respond to life, respond to the world. What comes at them that lights them up, that vibrates in their body, that says, woohoo, I found my thing. Because when they do that, they can work at that thing until they master it. And then they need something else to respond to, or they get super frustrated, super stressed out, super angry, and then they start acting out, right? So either they act out and disrupt everybody because they're frustrated, or they internalize it and then they get anxious, sick, worried, depressed, all of that. So an example of generators that are constantly frustrated and constantly initiating and going from thing to thing to thing, trying to decrease the frustration rather than sitting and waiting for the right thing to come at them so their body can vibrate, right? And they have a specific language that causes them to vibrate. And I teach people, it's called sacral response. And I teach people how to wake up their sacral so that they can respond to the right thing, not be frustrated and not be twirling around in stuckness and all that, right? Because that's what happens to them. And then there's finally my type, the projector, and there's another type, the reflector. And our job is to kind of check on the generators and the manifestors and see how they're doing, right? I'm here to orchestrate, direct people. That's my basic purpose. And as I mentioned before, I do that by invitation. So I just basically sit here and wait till people discover me somewhere or are referred to me. And I just have to make sure I'm visible in some way, right? So I have my website and stuff. And then they're like, you know what? I read an article you wrote, or so-and-so referred me to you, or I saw a video and I really wonder if you can help me. This is my problem. And that's how I figure out whether I love the invitation to help you or not. And because I now know that's what I'm looking for, and I have the right to say yes or no, I now have more control over my environment and my relationships, right? So the stress again is limited. The burnout opportunities are not there. So projectors and reflectors kind of work the same way. Reflectors are here literally, they are a barometer for the condition of groups. So walking through the world is a collective group. So they really feel the vibe of their city, their family, their workplace. If it's not a good, if it's dysfunctional and sad and mad and stressed out and angry and all of those things, a reflector will literally get sick. They will try to get away, right? So think of a reflector child living in a home, or a partner living in a really stressful relationship, and they're reflectors and they can't go anywhere. Those are unwell people. Their body is under attack all the time. So environment is really important to reflectors. So I don't know, is that feel good?
Yeah, that's a great synopsis of the four different types. I found that to be quite interesting. And so what I'm hearing is when we work with our own design, when we understand our own design, then we can act accordingly. And it also is a way of energy management, which is key to navigating through challenging situations and stressful situations. So I really like this. And I know we've chatted about a little bit more about my my human design, and you've helped me see certain things that I wasn't seeing before. So I did find it helpful. I will have more conversation with you. I will have another session with you.
Look forward to it. It's fun.
Coming soon. For everyone that is listening to this interview, I know you are offering something free to help. So can you explain a little bit about what you're offering?
Sure. I was thinking about what I would have loved to have when I was first learning human design. When I started in 2006, the internet wasn't fully what it was yet, and there wasn't this explosion of human design stuff online. So I could have used a little bit of a cheat sheet, basically, right? Of who am I? What am I supposed to do? So I am offering something that I created called the Human Design Starter Kit. So I've created a set of bullet points for your type, like this is who you are, a description of your strategy, this is how you do it. And then I've provided a couple tips on how to communicate as your type, right? I call it the rules of engagement. And finally, I have a list of affirmations that kind of help people to get in the mood and start acting like their type, right? And then, I don't know, I was feeling myself that day. I decided to record it for everybody. So everybody gets a recording of their affirmations. And I think that's a good way to start learning about yourself. And it's free because why not? We need it, right? We need it. So please. Yeah, so it's called the Human Design Starter Kit, and it's available on my website. You just click the link that's right there at the top and follow through.
And what I'll do is, as I'm loading the video, I will be putting all the information. It'll be loaded on YouTube and perhaps some other channels. All the information, contact information, website, again, will be listed at the in the description. However, can you please give us your website once again?
It is www.brigitteknight.com. So that's BRIGITTEKNIGHT.com.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I have to check out the starter kit too, because I did not go there yet, or have not been there yet. So I will check it out and see, what cheat notes you have for me as well. So my name is Sandra Corrado of Next Level Consulting, and my website is www.nextlevels.ca. Thank you for joining.